Hi, this is Carrie with Carrie Concealed in the Active Self-Protection Extra channel, and I am getting ready in just a couple minutes to leave my home and head into the big city, and I am going to be trading in a bunch of the guns that I use for my students. I'm going to be trading them in on some different models. So I thought I'd show you some of the ones I'm getting rid of before saying goodbye to, I should say, before I get rid of them.
Henry Holsters is one of the few holster makers I trust to make a quality appendix carry holster that meets all the requirements of a holster. Check them out at a link in the description.
So I like to have as many different guns as I can afford to have as part of the business to be able to allow my students to shoot as many different handguns as possible without overwhelming them. I'm not talking about 20, 30, 40, or 50 guns. If I can typically have the most common ones that are available that people are going to go to the store and find, I try to have them. And that even includes ones that people have had trouble with that come to classes and have had trouble with some of these guns, or that we see trouble with at conferences. So I try to buy those also so the students can shoot them and see whether or not they will work for them. So one example of that is this handgun right here, and this one, this is unloaded and clear, and that's gonna be our direction of least consequence. This is one of the easy models from Smith & Wesson. This is a 380 version because it's the first one that came out. As soon as I saw this advertised, I knew that I would have students showing up to class with it. And the reason is because this firearm was advertised for people that have trouble racking the slide or locking the slide with low grip strength, that sort of thing, or arthritis or what have you. So I was pretty sure that marketing would be successful because that's a big problem point in the industry. And so I got it. And sure enough, soon after I got it, I had people showing up to class with it, and I was surprised at how much trouble it gave my students. And the primary reason it gave them trouble is because of this right here. This is a little grip safety, like you'll find on 1911 style handguns. And the issue for my students and what I've seen, not only my students, but at conferences I've taught at and places where I've taught around the country, is that folks with low grip strength will often, even if they're high in the back strap with their grip, this little part, it's easy for the crotch of your thumb to get caught under that. That's one problem, and so it can pinch. Another problem is during recoil, as the gun's recoiling, it'll come out of their hand just a little bit. Even if you're teaching them double pinky power and push hard, the gun will come up out of their hand just enough to disengage this grip safety, and which will cause a malfunction. And so we've seen, as part of the active self-protection crew when we've been teaching, we've seen folks where pretty much every other round they'll have trouble with. We have not done this, nor do I advocate doing this. I have heard other instructors talking, and even some folks at a local gun range here, they say that they will often put rubber bands around the grip to keep this grip safety engaged, so that students don't have trouble with malfunctions being induced during recoil. So I had this for long enough that my students were able to shoot through it. The craze seems to be kind of died down a little bit, and word seems to be spreading that this might not be the best option for someone that has that struggles with grip strength. Okay, so that's that one. Another one I'm saying goodbye to, these are actually two identical handguns, just two different calibers. These are the Walther CCP Series, one in 380 and one in 9mm. And the reason that I'm saying goodbye to these is because the CCP, when it first came out, was in 9mm, and it was marketed with, I think they called it soft coil technology or something, where a little bit of the gas is bled off to have less felt recoil while you're shooting it. And this gun was incredibly popular with my students, incredibly popular when it first came out, the M1 version. When the M2 version came out, the recoil felt very different to my students than the M1 version. And so because it's difficult to find the M1 now, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to have these when my students aren't going to be able to go out and buy it. So having them shoot something that they can't go out and buy and having them like it isn't going to help it. Without question, for I would say 4 or 5 years, the Walther CCP was the #1 gun that my students would choose out of the box of handguns I had. That's back when I was recommending folks start with a 9mm. That's changed a little bit now, but I don't recommend that when people are very first starting out with handguns, if they're brand new to them, if there's any concern or fright. I like them to begin with some of the 22 long rifle handguns that we have and see what they think of those first before they move into a 9mm. One of the other guns I'm saying goodbye to is the good old Glock 43. She's been a good girl. When the Glock 42 first came out, I had that for quite a while, and then when they brought out the 43, I traded that in on the 43. Why am I saying goodbye to this? Well, because they have the 43X, which I think is a little bit better as far as capacity goes. The 43X holds more rounds than the Glock 43, and so just a good time to say goodbye to this one, and I already have the 43X, so I won't be trading this in on the 43X right now. And another one that I'm going to be saying goodbye to is this little Taurus TCP, probably for obvious reasons why I'm saying goodbye. This is a little 380. I've had this for years and years and years. And the reason that I'm saying goodbye to it is because I have something very similar that's this small. Why do I have this for my students? I don't want them to shoot this or really want this. But I have it because so many of them will go to the gun counter and see, oh, little gun, little recoil, that's going to be perfect for me. And they don't realize that the size of the gun doesn't necessarily correlate to the amount of felt recoil the gun has. And so I have students that come all the time with like a bodyguard or something similar to this. I mean, it is similar to this, but also there's other guns in that, in the little tiny micro 380 line. Have students come with that who are just shocked, sometimes even angry, honestly, that the gun has so much felt recoil compared to what they expected it to have. So it's kind of nice to have some of these for my students to shoot before they go buy a gun so they don't make that costly mistake. And I have several others of these. I think the one I have right now, I have a Ruger very similar to this and a Smith & Wesson very similar to this. So I don't need to have 3 of them. And then the last one I'm going to say goodbye to for now is this Keltech. This is a pretty awesome looking little handgun. People see it like, whoa. But this Keltech is it's a little 22 long rifle. It holds 33 rounds, I believe, in the magazine, which is, no, now I can't remember if it's 33 or 23. Anyway, haven't had this out for a while. But this gun is one that I got a couple years ago because I had a number of elderly students that lived on their own that were looking for something for home protection. And that particular group of students, I had a retirement home that I was working with, a couple of them for a number of years, and grip strength, arthritis, those sorts of things were a big issue for them. And so this seemed like a good option, I thought, for them because it has had so much capacity. And since they couldn't operate a larger caliber, I thought perhaps this would work for them. And you know, for several, it's worked well. It just hasn't had. It's not a bad gun or anything like that. I just don't have the student population anymore that that something like this might be helpful for. But anyway, it's a nice, smooth shooting gun. The grip diameter is a little bit big for it. It's the front to back that's pretty hefty. The side-to-side girth isn't much, but the front to back is big. And so anyway, so it just didn't quite work out like I expected it to, but I'm thankful that I had a lot of students that were able to shoot it and see if it was something they were going to like, because when they go to the gun counter, they're going to see, you know, this gun there. And so for them to be able to have shot through these different guns. So that's about it. These are the ones I'm saying goodbye to for now. And every couple years I do this, switch through some guns. And so maybe when I get back, I'll shoot a video and show you what I traded these in on. That's it for today. Have a great day and hope to see you soon again. Bye-bye.